Good crypto fam, Bitcoin is pumping. We already touched $30,000 this morning. You gotta love it. In today's show, First Republic Bank dives another 20% with the Bitcoin price action ready for $40,000. In breaking news just in, centuries-old Australian bank to offer Bitcoin to over 260,000 of their customers. Also breaking news, Strike now lets Guatemalans receive instant, zero-fee remittance payments in their local currency with the Bitcoin Lightning Network. And quoting Plan B, creator of the Bitcoin stock-to-flow model, 56 million fiat millionaires in the world and only 1 million Bitcoin addresses with more than one BTC. We are early. And quoting the high priest of Bitcoin, Max Kaiser, while living in Britain, when Bitcoin was $1, we told the Brits to buy it because the Bank of England was destroying the euro and Brexit would ramp inflation dramatically. Those who took our advice are laughing today. One country who took our advice is doing incredibly well, which is El Salvador. Preach. Also in today's show, Circle CEO blames the U.S. crypto crackdown for their declining USDC market cap. Also, Circle's Fed payment rail could be crushed by New York's Fed policy change. I'll be breaking this down for you, as well as Bitcoin price hits a record high in Argentina as the Argentine peso gets lost a value of 99% versus the US dollar since the beginning of the currency crisis, which began back in 2018. We'll also be discussing, can the third time be the charm, as ARK invests in 21 shares again file with the SEC for a spot Bitcoin ETF. We'll also be discussing Bitcoin in the early stages of a parabolic rally as Bitcoin mirrors the 2015 bull market, according to top crypto trader. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this plus so much more in today's show. And today's episode is brought to you by Coin Tracking, the #1 leader for cryptocurrency tracking and tax reporting. Coin Tracking analyzes your trades and generates real-time reports on profits and losses, the value of your coins, realized and unrealized gains, reports for taxes, plus so much more. And I want to refer you to their full service package, which is pretty cool because by subscribing to full service, you're going to receive help in tracking your crypto transactions, making sure your imports are correct, and the service also includes account cleanups, data preparation, clarifying crypto tax questions, plus so much more, as you can see highlighted right here. And it's simple to get started. You simply click this button which says request your full service now, select the country that you're living in. For example, I'm going to select the United States, and then you can see the different packages which are offered. For example, the account review package, you can see the details, introductory call for service explanation, full review of your coin tracking account, plus your latest tax reports, validation checks, and duplicate checks on all your transactions. And you can see some of the other services, which include the basic account service outline right here, and then they also have the advanced account service, the major difference being the basic account service covers up to 4 hours, where the advanced account service covers up to 8 hours. Now, it's also free to get started. You can register right now using my referral link in the description right down below, truly making this a no-brainer. And if you do decide to sign up for a subscription package, you can save 10% using my referral link. So go ahead and take advantage of it today, and let's get this crypto, shall we? And welcome everyone just tuning in. This is podcast episode number 1263. I'm your host, JV, and today is April 26, 2023. And you gotta love it as the entire crypto market is pumping like a mofo, which you can see on your screen. Bitcoin up 9% for the day, trading above 29,800. We already touched 30,000 a little earlier. We have Ether also pumping up 7.5%, trading above $1,950 as all the major cryptos are pumping and in the green. And checking out coinmarketcap.com, the current crypto market cap is sitting at $1.2 trillion with 52 billion in volume in the past 24 hours, with the Bitcoin dominance at 46.9% and the Ether dominance at 19.1%. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers in the past 24 hours, Render token up a whopping 34%, trading at $2.40, followed by Injective up 24%, trading at $8.71, followed by Conflux up 22%, trading just above 34 cents. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers for the past week, finally, everything is in the green once again, as the past couple of weeks have been pretty bearish for the overall altcoin market. So you gotta love it when we're pumping. And checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, one of my favorite indicators, shows we're currently rated a 56 greed, yesterday a 53 neutral, last week a 63 greed, and last month a 64 in greed. So there you have it. How many of you are currently bullish on the King Crypto? Let me know in the comments right down below. below. And now let's dive into today's Bitcoin technical analysis, shall we? And discuss what's happening in the charts and in the market. Bitcoin tagged $30,000 into the April 26th Wall Street Open as the bulls gained further momentum from the U.S. banking woes. That's right here looking at the Bitcoin this is the one-day candle chart, looking pretty bullish. And data from Cointelegraph Market Support and TradingView followed as it briefly reclaimed the psychological line in the sand, capping 11% gains versus its local lows from April 24th. Bitcoin continued to respond positively to the rapidly evolving next chapter of the U.S. banking crisis. This centered around First Republic Bank, which revealed a $100 billion reduction in deposits this week. Talk about the ultimate bank run. That's $100 billion, son. The U.S. government was reportedly uninterested in intervening on the day, according to the source cited by CNBC, as the bank's stock FRC opened down another 22% before being halted for volatility. The weekly stock prices lost thus totaled over 50%. And lo and behold, Jim Cramer, he told you to go long on this bank just a couple of weeks ago, right before it's crashing. Go figure. And responding, Arthur Hayes, the former CEO of crypto derivatives exchange BitMEX, smelled the blood. If the government were to refuse a bailout of First Republic, he argued it could set off dangerous chain reaction of insolvencies. But if the bank fails and depositors take an L, a big loss, then every other bank with the same issues will go under shortly thereafter. The entire U.S. banking system suffers from the same issue. Facts, ain't telling no lies. Hayes concluded that both Bitcoin and gold were chiefly benefiting from the lack of clarity and associated cold feet surrounding the bank's fate and the lawmakers' next step. Quoting him here, this uncertainty is what is driving outside money like gold and Bitcoin higher. Now let's discuss $40,000 Bitcoin price action incoming, shall we? Bitcoin traders and analysts thus stayed confident about the overall uptrend continuing, regardless of the temporary consolidatory moves around the 30,000 mark. Quoting Mikhail Benepop, the crucial breaker was 27.8, not 28.8. We're ready for 40,000. Full send. And Dan Crypto Trades drew comparisons between the current rebound and the prior breakdown to the monthly lows, quoting him here, sweeping the highs in quick succession. Similar price action as we saw on the way down, where we had about a dozen of these before the price properly broke down. Others, including popular trader Jelle and Bitazine General, forecast a return to a range-bound Bitcoin price action of $30,000. Over leveraged, got properly wiped here, and about 500 million obliterated. And also, that probably means that this mini rally is about done. Consolidation next. So there you have it. Which crypto analyst do you agree with? Let me know in the comments below. And major news coming from centuries-old Australian bank RLB to offer Bitcoin to over 260,000 customers as the mass Bitcoin adoption continues and game theory in full effect. Also, Strike now lets Guatemalans receive instant, zero-fee remittance payments in their local currency with the Bitcoin Lightning Network. So shout out to Strike and their CEO, Jack Mallers. And quoting Plan B, creator of the Bitcoin stock-to-flow model, 56 million fiat millionaires in the world, but only 1 million Bitcoin addresses with one or more BTC. A reminder that we're early. And quoting the high priest of Bitcoin, while living in Britain when Bitcoin was just $1, we told the Brits to buy it because the Bank of England was destroying the euro and Brexit would ramp inflation dramatically. Those who took our advice are laughing today. One country who took our advice is doing incredibly well, which is El Salvador. That's right. So there you have it. And now let's dive into our next story of the day and discuss what's happening with USDC and Circle. And I'll just tell you, it's not looking good for them right now. Check it out. The Circle CEO says that crypto crackdown by the U.S. regulators has been a major factor behind the declining market cap of its stablecoin, USD coin, better known as USDC. Circle's chief comments on the U.S. crackdown came amid heavy regulatory scrutiny following the collapse of the FTX exchange, a banking crisis, and USDC's monetary depegging. During an interview with Bloomberg TV, the CEO noted there is a huge amount of concern globally around the U.S. banking system and the regulatory environment of the U.S. USDC depegged back in March, a direct result of the U.S. banking crisis. Circle's $3.3 billion worth of USDC reserves was stuck with Silicon Valley Bank, which was one of the 3 crypto-friendly banks which were shut down by regulators. And at the time, Circle had assured its customers that it had the backing from investors to fill the gap. but the market reacted quickly to the news, and USDC depegged from the US dollar, which we witnessed. And as you can see here in this chart, USDC once had a market cap of $56 billion at the peak and was sitting right behind Tether issued USDC. However, since the banking crisis and USDC's depeg, the stablecoin's market cap has been cut nearly in half, currently sitting just above $30 billion. Now, Coinbase has also warned that the lack of regulatory clarity may force crypto companies to look for opportunities overseas. With the recent passing of the Markets of the Crypto Assets Act by the European Parliament and the push for adoption by Hong Kong, he believes that the U.S. will be left behind. Quoting him here, "It is a critical moment here in the United States, and as I like to say, it is really a moment for Congress to step up." Now, the U.S. SEC, led by Chairman Gary Gensler, has been on an enforcement spree since the FTX collapse saga all began. The SEC has threatened regulatory action against multiple crypto platforms and exchanges. Gensler faced a lot of pushback from policymakers during the oversight hearing on digital assets, and apart from policymakers, many crypto proponents have also questioned the authority of the SEC and Gary Gensler, as they should, right? Because he can't answer a simple question. Yo, Gary, is Ethereum a security or a commodity? Well, I don't really know, so I'm just going to shake my finger and sound important and make up something. You know what I mean? And with lack of regulatory certainty, what can you expect? It creates more fear into the marketplace. But guess what? As more fear is pouring in from these bank runs, collapsing left and right, it's just going to make people that much more bullish on crypto, especially the king, BTC. So bring it and let's freaking go. And with that being shared, now let's dive into our next story of the day and discuss Circle being crushed. And Max Kaiser actually predicted this a while back, so got to give respect where respect is due. He talked about the collapse of USDC and Circle back November, December of last year. Check this out. The New York Federal Reserve has published new rules for counterparties looking to use its monetary market balancer, its money balancer, catering uncertainty over intentions of stablecoin issuer Circle from the Fed system. In an April 25th statement, the New York Fed announced adjustments to its guidelines to determine which parties are eligible to participate in its reverse purchase agreements. The updated guidelines could potentially hinder Circle's chances of gaining access to the Fed's reverse repurchase program, a process where the Fed sells securities to eligible counterparties with an agreement to repurchase them back at a maturity date. That's right, and according to the New York Fed, assessing such a system would be a natural extension of an existing business model, and the counterparty should not be organized by the purpose of accessing these RPP operations. Quoting them here, SEC registered 2A7 funds that, in the sole judgment of the New York Fed, are organized for a single beneficial owner or exhibit sufficient similarities to a fund so organized generally will be deemed ineligible to access reverse repo operations. So like I said, not looking so good for Circle, which thought they had the green light. The Circle Reverse Fund, a money market fund managed by investment management firm BlackRock. For those of you who didn't know, that's right, BlackRock controls Circle, just FYI. The regulations governing 2A7 government money market funds are aimed at ensuring that these funds are able to meet the potential redemptions by investors in a timely manner. And if you didn't know, BlackRock is the largest asset manager in the world, ran by Larry Fink. Now, funds under this category must hold at least 10% of its total assets in a daily liquid assets and at least 30% of its total assets in weekly liquid assets. Approval into the Fed's program would allow Circle to earn interest on excess funds by investing in low-risk treasury securities, allowing the stablecoin issuer to earn interest and help maintain the stability of a stablecoin, which is USDC. Now, how many of you would prefer to use Tether USDT versus Circle's USDC? Let me know in the comments below. I'm a big proponent of Tether. I much rather prefer that stablecoin if I had to use one, just FYI. It was noted at the time that despite Circle's expanded ties with BNY Mellon, that its new banking partnership with Cross River, Circle held 80% of its reserves in treasuries. And recently, Circle has turned its focus to having more banking partnerships on a global basis since the depegging of the USDC following the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank on March 10th. According to Pathy, it was only in November that Circle announced it had begun investing parts of its funds into the Circle Reverse Fund as a measure to mitigate risks and uphold the redeemability of its coins for holders. So there you have it. At the end of the day, I do not trust Circle or USDC, but that's just me. Let me know your stablecoin of choice in the comments below, and at the end of the show, I'll be reading everyone's comments out loud, giving everyone the opportunity to get their comments heard. And with that being shared, fam, now let's discuss our next story of the day. The Bitcoin price has hit yet another all-time high in Argentina. That's right. Check this out, fam. Argentina, Bitcoin is soaring. As we can see, on April 18th, the Bitcoin to ARS exchange rate crossed over 6.59 million ARS, according to aggregated price data tracked by Google Finance. And since the peak, the rate has corrected to around 9 million ARS, down 9%, but still up more than 100% year to date. That's right, Bitcoin's growth in the Argentine market coincides with its contentious ARS devaluation, continuous. And for instance, traders were paying as low as 460 ARS to buy $1 from the black market on April 24th, more than double the official spot price that pays 220 ARS for the dollar. That's right. Now, also FMYA, a United States-based consultancy firm, noted that the Argentine central bank's reserves have dropped by half to an estimated 1.3 billion since 2019. That has raised the risk of further peso devaluation, which has crashed nearly 99% from the currency crisis peak of 330 ARS back in 2018. That has led locals to seek haven in the dollar, which has become scarce due to the rising demand in the country. And at the same time, Bitcoin and similar cryptos operating outside the government's and central bank's purview are increasingly emerging as alternatives, as they should be, right? For example, data shows the Bitcoin's peer-to-peer weekly volume in Argentina reached a record high of nearly $30 million in March on the Paxful exchange. Also, a study back from 2022 found that nearly 60% of Argentines believe in Bitcoin's ability to safeguard the value of their savings in the long term. Popular U.S. currency exchange Coinbase also recommends Bitcoin to become a legal tender in Argentina. How epic would that be? Let's become a legal tender in Argentina. Bring it. Now, earlier in April, the National Commission of Value, Argentina securities regulator, approved the Bitcoin-based futures index on the Matba Rofex exchange set to debut in May. The derivative, settled in pesos, will enable accredited investors to gain exposure to the Bitcoin markets. And in addition, a recent bill proposed by the Ministry of Economy asked citizens to declare their crypto holdings and incentivize them with tax benefits. Also in December of 2022, the Argentine province announced its intentions to issue a dollar-backed stablecoin. So there you have it. As more and more countries are moving away from the dollar, as hyperinflation is taking place not just in the United States, but in countries all around the world, it is not looking good for fiat, to say the least. But with that being shared, now let's dive into our next breaking story of the day and discuss a spot Bitcoin ETF. Could the third time be the charm for ARK Invest and 21 shares? Let's discuss it. Cathie Wood's ARK Invest and European crypto investment firm 21 shares are both seemingly unperturbed by the crypto regulatory environment in the U.S., again requesting approval for a Bitcoin-based financial product. On April 25th, the two companies requested that the U.S. SEC approve the creation of a spot Bitcoin ETF, despite being rejected twice already. The two companies first applied to create their spot Bitcoin ETF on June 28, 2021, a request that was rejected by the SEC in April of 2022. A year later, the regulator said the product did not meet the requirements of a listing of a financial product under its rules of practice, as well as those of the Exchange Act, which is a bunch of nonsense considering we have a futures ETF, which allows the regulators to manipulate the Bitcoin price action. Now, the pair filed another request for a second time in May of 2022, an application that the SEC rejected yet again on January 26th of this year. An ETF allows investors exposure to a particular asset without actually holding the underlying financial product. So a spot Bitcoin ETF allows investors to gain indirect exposure to the crypto, which shares that track Bitcoin's price in real time without actually holding the king crypto. And while the SEC has approved a number of Bitcoin futures ETFs, which expose buyers to the potential future value of Bitcoin, it has so far rejected every single application for a spot Bitcoin ETF, citing difficulties with protecting investors and the public interest against fraud and manipulation, which we all know is nothing more than BS. They're just protecting their own central banking cartels at the end of the day. So according to an ETF analyst from Bloomberg, it seems likely that a spot Bitcoin ETF could become a reality in the U.S. midway through the year. Quoting Eric Balchunas here, new note out on why we think a spot Bitcoin ETFs will get approval in early summer 2023. The SEC is proposing to expand the definition of exchange, which would bring crypto platforms under the SEC registration, and after that, look for ETFs to get the green light. So there you have it. Let me know if you agree or disagree with this prediction. All I know is this: once a spot Bitcoin ETF finally gets approved in the United States, it's game over, or I should say game on, game over for the central banking system and the banking cartels and the fiat US dollar, because at the end of the day, nothing is going to be able to stop the trillions upon trillions of dollars just waiting on the sidelines, waiting for a spot Bitcoin ETF to be invested in. You know what I mean? With that being shared, now let's dive into this $130,000 Bitcoin price prediction. Actually, we're going to be discussing a $300,000 price prediction. And let me actually update this in real time because I don't know why it says 100 and something. We should be talking about 300. There we go. Much, much better. But yeah, anyways, let's break this down. This is our final story of the day, and then we'll be doing some live Q&A. A widely followed crypto strategist says Bitcoin is likely setting the stage for a steep rally in the coming months as the King Crypto shadows a parabolic rally witnessed nearly a decade ago. Synonymous analyst Tech Dev tells his 500,000 Twitter followers that multiple technical indicators currently suggest Bitcoin could be mimicking its 2015 bull market, a cycle that saw the Bitcoin price rally from less than $200 to $20,000 in about 2 years. So if you run the math, that's 100x gains, fam. 100x. So if we were only to 10x from the current price of $30,000, we're realistically talking about a $300,000 Bitcoin price prediction. The crypto analyst shares two charts that show how Bitcoin has been following the 2015 cycle over the last year and a half. Quoting him here on crypto Twitter alongside this chart: early stage of a Bitcoin parabola following a 1.5 year correction, which is clearly outlined right here in this chart. Now, looking at TechDev's charts, it appears that Bitcoin has taken out a diagonal resistance that kept Bitcoin bearish in 2022 and retested it as support, which is strikingly similar to the leading digital assets price action in 2014 as well as 2015. The analyst's chart also shows similarities in the movements of the two technical indicators, the relative strength index, which is a momentum indicator, and the moving average convergence divergence, better known as the MACD, which is a trend following indicator. According to the charts, Bitcoin's weekly RSI has recently broken out of the bullish 60 zone after flashing a bullish divergence reminiscent of its movement about 8 years ago. Meanwhile, the MACD is flashing a bullish cross on the Bitcoin weekly chart, which is another signal witnessed in the early stages of the 2015 bull market. TechDev is not the only analyst who believes the Bitcoin price could print exponential gains in the coming months. Synonymous analyst Credible Crypto also thinks Bitcoin can hit $130,000 before the end of the year. Let me know if you agree or disagree with this forecast. Do you think a $300,000 Bitcoin price can be likely for this cycle, especially by the peak, which I think will occur in 2025, considering the halving is going to take place in now less than a year, estimated to be sometime in April of 2024. Let me know your thoughts in the comments right down below. And now let's dive into some live Q&A, and everyone will have the opportunity to get their comment read out loud. Welcome to each and every one of you in the live chat. Adam 2, good to see you. Anything Bitcoin, welcome. Coinfather, welcome. Evan Rivero, welcome. Chess Purist, we're going to have to play some chess. I'm a big fan. Welcome, welcome. Matthew J, Bitcoin Trini, Selling with Twins, Coinfather, Scooter E, Eye of the Beholder, Megadon, What's Good Dub Proof, Scott W, Kurtz Sally, Good Morning, Greedy Savvy 1, Curtis Saleh, Word Up, Uber Hodler, welcome. Good to see y'all, and I'm going to scroll to the very top and start rattling out all of y'all comments. Hold these prices down. I don't own enough Bitcoin. Well, how long we've been telling everyone to buy the dip and seize the moment, you know what I mean? Matthew says, thanks, JV, let's get it. Got to pump it up. One of my favorite theme songs for Bitcoin. Lazy says, I may not always be able to show up for the live jam session, but I always watch the replay. What's good? What's good, Lazy Turtle? I appreciate you tuning in regardless and showing up. Much love, much respect. Good to see you, Matthew J. Always a pleasure, family. You know what I mean? It's time. Bottom is in. Got to try to accumulate as much as possible for the next 12 months before that parabolic run really gets into hyper speed. Sage advice, Matthew J. You already know, fam. He also says, I wouldn't have sent that long a message if I knew you were trying to eat, bro. Word up for those of you eating dinner. I know people are joined in from all around the world. Here in Puerto Rico right now, it's afternoon. It's about 12:24. Same as Eastern time in the New York. Of course, JV, always got your back, fam. Greatly appreciate that as always. You got to pump it up. You already know what's good. And what's your thoughts on that breaking news in Australia? 260,000 new customers getting exposure to Bitcoin. Obviously a big deal, as well as Strike now lets Guatemalans receive instant, zero fee remittance payments in their local currency with the Bitcoin Lightning Network. Good stuff for mass adoption. Sailing says, hey fam, just made it. Been a mission today. The delivery skipper of the yacht is coming tomorrow to take her away. Sad day, but good day too. Crypto is pumping 100% as the banks continue crashing. This is insane. First Republic Bank is the stock ticker FRC. Their stock price in April of last year was $152. Their price now in April of 2023, 1 year later, $4. That's a 97% decrease. And also Jim Cramer, I got to point out reverse Cramer or inverse Cramer, because everything he says, the opposite occurs. He was bullish on this freaking bank a couple of weeks ago, saying it was strong and it's not going anywhere. And lo and behold, it literally crashes and over $100 billion in outflows. That goes to show you that Jim Cramer works for the powers that be, and he's purposely there in this position to mislead you, to keep investors poor. And that's the sad reality of what we're dealing with right now, fam. So inverse Cramer, 100%. Also, Cramer was also like, get out of crypto right before Bitcoin surged like another 50% or something like that. So anything that guy says, typically if you do the opposite, you'll be all right. Yeah, I mean? And Balco Bulls, I appreciate the super chat contribution. Much love. He says, good morning. Let's get it. Let's get it, fam. Megadon, welcome. He says, bullish is what? Tired of working hard. Well, that's why we have Bitcoin working for us. Let Bitcoin do its thing. Stanley says, my first boat I worked commercially was the Don. What a cool name. The Don. Always a good day when you know you have peace of mind in Bitcoin. Exactly. And for those of you with money in the bank, only keep in the bank what you're willing to lose. Facts. You know what I mean? Hopefully not a dead cat bounce, says Selling with Twins. I think it's a great sign because every time there's doomsday for a new bank, Bitcoin pumps. You know what I mean? Naturally, people are losing faith of the traditional fractional reserve banking system, as they should. That means for every, $10 deposited into the bank, they're able to borrow like $90, ultimately 10x of what they receive. And then what do they give you in return? Virtually nothing. You're actually losing money by placing your hard-earned bucks in the bank due to inflation. So the tiny 0.1% interest rate or whatever they're offering you is virtually nothing. You are losing money by keeping money in the bank. That's why we have alternatives such as Bitcoin, which is a hedge against inflation. It's a hedge against the corrupt banking institutions. It's a hedge against the politicians. It's a hedge against the central banking cartels. It's a hedge against the doomsday scenario playing out all across the world right now. So how can you not be bullish on the King Crypto? Just saying. First Republic collapsing, all the Bitcoin needed, another bank failure. That's right. Bitcoin thrives in this chaos. It was designed for this. Remember, Bitcoin was birthed as a reaction to the 2008 financial crisis with the first Genesis block being released by Satoshi. This is back in January of 2009. So yeah, and we're going strong. You got to love it. Let's go Crypto fam, says Corky C. Welcome Corky C. Appreciate you tuning in live, fam. Hope y'all having a BTFD freaking day, buying that dip. Word up. You got to do what you got to do. My son told me that he is a Bitcoin maxi after I told him a month ago to swap his ish coins for Bitcoin. I am so proud of him. Another maxi is born. Congratulations. That's what's up. Scooter E says my low Bitcoin prediction top is 180,000 USD based on the previous halving and the current adoption rate. I dig it. I like that. I don't mind $180,000 low as a prediction. I love it. I welcome it. Send it. Nice one. I am raising a couple of Bitcoin maxis too, says Adam 2. Word up. And shout out to all the Bitcoin maxis and the future generations out there. reppin' Satoshi. Big up, says Dub Proof. Word up. Alan Haley, good morning and welcome. Says, you know the deal. 2025 is our year, folks. You already know it. Coinfather was good. Crypto News Alerts fam, welcome, welcome. CNA in the building. JV going to be talking us through 39,000 tonight. I hope so. I'd love to see a $40,000 Bitcoin price action, but in all sincerity and honesty, I'd love to see us conquer 30,000 today and stay above it, like have a strong close above it, flipping that resistance into a strong support. And then I think we move onwards and upwards throughout the week. Maybe over the weekend, we continue to pump. Let's see what's to happen with news from other banks. I think it's going to potentially create a domino effect. This is like one of the biggest banks. 100 billion in outflows is a pretty big deal. So I think a lot of people are going to lose confidence in other banks as well. And as this continues and the domino effect continues, that's just more bullishness for the Bitcoin price action, if you know what I mean. Lego Haircut has no more money to intervene and bail out the bank. Let's go. Greedy. No one is the time. The time is when it's already low. Word up. No one knows where the bottom is going to be. But I believe that the Bitcoin bottom is in. I think we hit that, was that around November or December of last year? I think that was back in November. We hit around $15,600 and then we surged roughly 100% since then. So how many of you took advantage of that? And how many of you perma bears missed the boat and you're praying and hoping for a crash to regain those positions? Now they have fresh capital sitting on the sidelines and you were praying for the Bitcoin price to collapse, but that obviously did not happen as we couldn't be more bullish this year. Up insane gains, roughly 90% thus far for the year. Not too shabby. And we're only just getting started. EQ out some mids, just a heads up. Word up. What's going on, Bitcoin Trini? Good morning, Jeff S. Good to see you. I'm close to joining the whole Bitcoin club. Congratulations, Lazy Turtle. That's what's up. Massive congratulations. Coinfather, what do you mean to sell my alts? I already own Biddy. I am just trying to get rid of my alts and buy more Bitcoin. Word up. Dollar cost average all day, says Kurt Saleh. Word up. Good advice. I have 3 Bitcoin, but not even close to being a millionaire. Well, Scott, you got to hold those Bitcoin because one day a Bitcoin could be worth $1 million. I feel it's inevitable and only a matter of time. So keep holding that stash and keep accumulating Satoshis, if you know what I mean. Ish coins are to swing. Alt seasons are done once regulations come out of Congress in the next year. Lazy Turtle, your diligence is starting to be fun, ain't it? Get it. So much respect to Lazy Turtle. I got a quarter. All good. It don't matter how much Bitcoin you have. All that matters is you continue stacking and keep doing your thing. Joe Voss says, what's good, JV? Medellin in the house. Much love. 35,000 income and send it. Massive shout out to Medellin, Colombia. One of my favorite places in the world. And shout out to Joe Voss. I appreciate you tuning in live, fam. Scott says, as David Byrne once said, patience is a virtue, but I don't have the time. Kurt says, I wonder how Gary feels. I say we audit Gary Gensler. I'll tell you how Gary feels. Gary feels rich and taken care of because this dude was a Goldman Sachs banker, already wealthy before he had that position with the CFTC, before he became the SEC chairman, etc. So this dude is loaded beyond measure and never has to worry about money ever again. And he's purposely just following the agenda of the puppeteers pulling the strings because Gary at the end of the day is nothing more than a puppet. You know what I mean? Representing the Fed. Uber Hodler says Gary is laughing all the way to the bank. Literally. Facts. I guarantee you that. He's a con artist. He's also was colluding with Sam Bankman-Fried and probably deserves to be in prison, but he'll probably get away with that as most of the regulators continue to do. Freddie, if that's the case, I think 2024, depending upon the issue bought, you may be able to start dumping some in the money. Smash that like. I greatly appreciate that, Jeff, as the greatest compliment you can do is smash like and drop a comment. And if you're new to the show, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to turn on all notifications as it helps out tremendously. And that way you're notified every time I go live. I was just thinking the same. Gensler, how do you feel about Bitcoin? Great question. All we know is this. Bitcoin is the only cryptocurrency currently with clarity as it was deemed a commodity. And that's the only cryptocurrency with clarity right now. The second largest crypto by market cap, Ethereum, no clarity. It's divided. Some people are calling it a security. Some people are calling it a commodity, etc. We don't know. how they're going to deem it. Scott says USDT. I prefer them as well because I trust and believe Max Kaiser. USDT has been around as the longest. It's the original stablecoin. And how many of you didn't know that USDT Tether is also a legal tender in El Salvador? Not just Bitcoin, but Tether USDT as well, which means I ultimately trust them because I trust Bukele and I trust the people behind it, whereas I do not trust the Circle CEO, as I pointed out, as they're doing business with BlackRock and the World Economic Forum, who cannot be trusted. One of the reasons I don't even trust Ethereum anymore. They're also colluding with the World Economic Forum. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Okay, greedy. I was an ish coiner and I have a few out of the money that I believe will be into the money in 2024. Yeah, man, everything cool, brother. You good? Word up. I have never owned any stablecoin straight from the US dollar to Bitcoin and ish coins. Word up. Evan says, how much Bitcoin do you suggest people to have as of now? And that's a great question. Everyone's in a different situation and predicament in life, so you can't compare yourself to anyone else, because if we did, we'd all feel worthless. If I compare myself to Max Kaiser, who is more than likely a multi-Bitcoin billionaire, or a Michael Saylor, the company, the first publicly traded company to put Bitcoin on the balance sheet, which is MicroStrategy. What do they have? Like 140,000 Bitcoin. You're gonna feel inferior. And comparing yourself to another individual is not right. You're just beating yourself up and it's unfair. So what you need to do is compare your Satoshis to what you had last week. Compare how many Satoshis you have today compared to yesterday or last year or the year before. As long as you're stacking sats, you're heading in the right direction. That's the bigger picture. There is no number you must have. I'd say strive to become a whole coiner. That's an excellent goal, but you know how far out of reach that is for the average person that doesn't even have $5,000 in their bank account and they're living paycheck to paycheck? That's why just stack sats. Don't think you need to own a whole Bitcoin to be in the game, because one Bitcoin could be divided by 100 million Satoshis. That's the beauty here. It's so divisible that anyone can afford it. You can literally purchase $5 Bitcoin every day, which you can afford it. Skip your coffee at Dunkin' Donuts and buy some freaking Bitcoin. Do that. That's a start if you're not in the game, right? And if you're already in the game, just keep doing what you're already doing. DCA, dollar cost average, you already know the game, fam. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but that's what's up. Eye of the beholder, smash them likes. Greatly appreciate that. Much, much, much love. And I'm glad you asked that question, how much Bitcoin you should hold. As much as possible. Regardless of how much you have, you should probably feel you need more, especially during such uncertain times in the world where, we're living in unprecedented times at the moment. You know what I mean? Ready for Miami 2023 and JV Puerto Rico party? That's right. As a reminder, once the Bitcoin price action smashes $100,000, I'm planning on having a party here in Puerto Rico. Everyone watching is invited. Granted, you're not a perma-bear because we don't want anyone raining on our parade when we're celebrating, right? Because it's only a matter of time. It will happen. I think six-figure Bitcoin price likely happens next year in 2024. If for some reason it doesn't happen the same year as the halving, I'm pretty freaking positive it's going to happen in 2025. Not investment advice, but I'm just saying, logically, considering the previous all-time high we hit in 2021, which was roughly 69,000, if we only 2x from the previous cycle high peak, we're still looking at $138,000 Bitcoin. You know what I mean? So send it and let's all celebrate in Puerto Rico. How many of you are actually going to be joining the party? Let me know in the comments right down below. Bullish as what? With my Crypto News Alerts fam. Love to hear that. Bitcoin treating nice, man. I wish I was going to Miami. I'm ready for Puerto Rico with JV. That's what's up. I am long Bitcoin. That's what's up, chess purists. We're going to have to play some time. I love playing blitz chess. I play on Lee chess all the time. Feel free to reach out to me if you want my username and let's connect and let's play. You know what I mean? I play chess every day, by the way. How I invest is how I spend USDC on Coinbase and hold my earnings from spending. So I literally get free Bitcoin. I have accumulated over 2,000 worth of Bitcoin literally for free just in like 3 years. That's what's up, Evan Rivero. I'm happy to hear that. Keep stacking them stats and happy stacking fam. That's what's up. Cardano is the future, says QC Millennial Investments. How many of you are also bullish on Cardano? Let me know. Chill says smashed. I greatly appreciate that. Dub Proof says, did Bernie Madoff work for the SEC? Well, we know Mini Madoff, Scam Bankman-Fried, was colluding with the SEC, so nothing would surprise me. This could be our last bear market cycle. Get that coin now, says Chess Purist. Don't own a full biddy, but I own a few ETH. Well, that's what's up. What is ETH worth? Roughly 2,008 ETH, so that's $4,000 in Ethereum. Yeah, man, I mean, it is what it is. VRA, my ish coin bet for this year. I don't think I'm familiar with that one, dub proof, but I'm wishing you much success. Keep raising your goals and working towards it. Facts, Matthew J. Sage advice. I'll be there, baby. Greedy Savvy 1. Looking forward to seeing you here in Puerto Rico. It's going to be a blast. The only wrong allocation of Bitcoin is 0. Get off 0. Exactly. Get off of 0. Sage advice. That's comment of the day right there. Shout out to Matthew J. What do you think about Standard Chartered saying $100,000 Bitcoin price? I agree 100%. I think it's inevitable, and we are certainly going to be heading towards $100,000. I feel that's very conservative. I like making predictions of 500,000, 1 million, because I'm looking into the future. I'm not just focused on next year or the following year. I'm focused on 2030. You know what I mean? I'm looking at things then. Where's the Bitcoin price likely to be? Will the US dollar even exist in the next 5 years? Probably not. We'll have CBDC, a central bank digital currency. The FedNow pilot program has already rolled out in the United States. You know what I mean? And many countries around the world are also testing it in real time. So I am extremely optimistic because I have no faith in the US dollar. I have no faith in the United States government. I have no faith in the central banking cartel. And that's why I'm so bullish on Bitcoin. Some of the few reasons why. You know what I mean? Audit the SEC, says Crypto for Cardano. Say it once a day to keep Gary Guzzles his mom away. Yeah, audit Gary. Gary also claims he's never owned a cryptocurrency. I think he is full of ish. Don't you agree? If you are Bob Lucas, you started with 25 Bitcoin that cost 100,000 in December 2018. Now you have 42 Bitcoin with the same 100,000, cost you 23.81 per Bitcoin, dollar cost average. That's how you play the Bitcoin cycles. Good answers. Thank you, says Crypto Kangaroo. You're very welcome. And as you can see, the Bitcoin price action currently 29,800. And now we must wrap up. Here's a recap of what I covered with you here in today's live show. We broke down the latest technical analysis as First Republic Bank dives another 20% with the Bitcoin price action eyeing 40,000. I also shared breaking news that centuries-old Australian bank to offer Bitcoin to over 260,000 customers, as well as Strike now letting Guatemalans receive instant, zero-fee remittance payments in their local currency with the Bitcoin Lightning Network. We also discussed that Circle's CEO is now blaming the U.S. crypto crackdown for the declining USDC market cap, as well as Circle's Fed payment rail can be crushed by New York's Fed policy change. We also discussed the latest, a Bitcoin price hitting yet a new record all-time high in Argentina, as the peso had crashed 99% versus the U.S. dollar since the beginning of the currency crisis of 2018. We also discussed maybe third time could be the charm, as ARK invests in 21 shares again file with the SEC for a spot Bitcoin ETF. And we also discussed Bitcoin in the early stages of a parabolic rally as Bitcoin mirrors the 2015 bull market, according to top trader TechDev. But where do you feel the Bitcoin price is likely to go next? Let me know in the comments right down below.